into the details of the dailies, let's start off with some foreign headlines making wave across newspapers of Nigeria. I think the whole world is talking about it. U.S. reps impeach Trump over Capitol Hill invasion. Well, I didn't see this coming, but just 7 days after, 7 days to the inauguration of the new administration, President of the United States Donald Trump was impeached on Wednesday. With the development, Trump became the first United States president to be impeached twice.
Yeah.
The House of Representatives voted on Wednesday after a debate on the article of impeachment read by the Speaker, Nancy Pelosi. The final vote was 232 to 197, with 10 House Republicans supporting the measures, while 5 abstained. This was reported on the Guardian UK. This was the report there. It says the matter will now go before the Senate, which will decide whether Trump should be convicted and removed from office or not. The House voted on a single article of impeachment, a formal charge accusing Trump of inciting insurrection, just a week after a pro-Trump mob rampaged through the U.S. Capitol on a deadly protest. The rioters disrupted the formal certification of Democratic President-elect Joe Biden's victory over Trump on November 3rd election and sent lawmakers into hiding. I saw a video where for the impeachment of Trump, she said we don't know what he can do in 10 days. That's about 3 days ago. Said we don't know what he can do in 10 days. He can declare a nuclear weapon and unleash it. So it's better we nip it in the bud right now before while he still has the authority. Then why don't we try to grab that authority from him at the end of the day?
Well, America has a way by which they interpret their constitution. And it would be a disservice to the nation, the United States of America, if, one, Pelosi did not push the impeachment in the first instance.
Okay.
Because what actually happened is more like a coup. That was what happened because what Trump did is to, undermine democracy in United States of America, and United democracy to the whole world.
Okay.
And with that scenario that happened, it is very important that he's being cautioned at this moment. And that was what you saw playing out with all the Twitter, everybody banning him. If they do not do that, by now, it wouldn't be what we're saying that will be happening in the United States. And even after, despite that, you still see him talking. He still says some things. That's the kind of person he is. Trump is not the person that gives in easily. From what we heard over the years, that he's a bad loser. That he does not, take to
accept defeat.
No, he doesn't, and he will always fight back to make sure that. And then also to learn that nobody is above the law. And when you see that your country is rocking, the boat of your country is rocking. The boat is rocking the waters. The next thing for you to do is joining the Democrats. So that's what it is. You see, it doesn't have to say because it's my party member that it's destroying the fabric of the nation. To say,
right now, President Donald Trump, right now, will stop public.
I wouldn't say that. From every indication, if not for what is playing out, do you like it or not?
What effect does this have on posterity?
Well, what effect it has is that it's a precedent that any other person that wants to toe the line of Trump will know that no, that which happened to Trump can always happen to him. It's very important that this action is taken, because if it's not taken, anybody will come up and believe that he has all the power and he can do and overdo. That's the. But as it is now, the United States do one voice, the life of the nation.
Yeah.
Despite parties are different, and that is what is playing out. You saw that outside the legislations, the Republicans, you see that even the Republicans that are non members of the House, they are also against what Trump is doing. You saw Colin Powell.
Yes.
Because of that, he said he's backing out from Republican.
So many, I even own conversations with Trump and some of the Republicans with regards to looking at all he needs is 17,000 votes, and they have to generate 17,000 votes. And this is like pure politics that plays out in our everyday Nigeria.
And you see, that is what we've been the kind of politics. They are the democracy themselves.
The people are the democracy.
They are themselves. So there is no way they will want somebody to soil what over 200 years they have been saving just to destroy within a handful of time. And that's what is playing out in United States now.
All right.
And by the time Joe Biden comes in, like police said that, it's only the state that can prosecute him. State that can prosecute him.
Yes.
That's the kind of law they have. But don't forget, at the point, by the time it becomes a criminal charge, they invoke the Article 5. But he doesn't want to invoke.
Yes.
That's why he's being impeached.
That's why he's being impeached. If not,
that would have been the easiest way for Trump to leave. If Pence has invoked that Article 25, forget it. That would have been it.
Well, we learn every day. This is the Newspaper Review, Women Radio 91.7. Do well to send us a text or a WhatsApp message on 070-317. All right, National Identity Management Commission workers cry for help as cultists raid Rivers applicants. It's on Punch newspaper this morning. And also, Randy lecturers attempted to sleep with me, Bielsa first-class law graduate. Also, Ogun planning 10,000 housing units within 2 years. It's coming from the commissioner. And COVID-19 vaccine, Lagos Oyo plan purchase, Ogun River, Benue fault allocations. All right, and Lagos isolation bed occupied now 61%, says Professor Akin Abayomi. This day newspaper has the headline, Presidency cautions Muslim group to leave Matthew Coker alone. And Central Bank of Nigeria unveils quick response code framework to facilitate e-payment. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation turns to to offset losses from organizations of petroleum export. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission closes money laundering case against Atiku Abubakar's lawyer. And COVID-19, Nigeria in severe shortage of oxygen plants. Nigeria Medical Association cries out. And death toll rises in Benue over cholera outbreak. And former IGs comments nationwide sensitization program on community policing. The Guardian paper has the headline, while textile sector remains on blink despite intervention. Also, federal government tax stakeholders on cheaper oil production and competitiveness. The Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions opposes reopening of varsities, unveil next move today. And also 894,101 candidate passes mathematics English in 2020 National Examination Council. Also, Governor Nelson Wike promises to channel federal government 78 billion naira refund into more projects. He also has here, the Nation has the headline, Governor Simeon Lalong to local government chairman, resign if you can't pay minimum wage. And also, Edo teachers begin indefinite strike. Also here, the pen pushing, Lagos Police Command arrests nightclub owner over violating coronavirus protocol. And 5 killed, 14 injured on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway clash. This is a very sad story this morning. But we want to start off with the NIN deadline. January 18th has been January 19th. The Nigerian Communications Commission on Wednesday said it was awaiting the advice of the federal government as regards the deadline for the integration of subscribers' identification models with their valid national identity number. It also stated that the earlier announced deadlines were still uh, in force despite the clamor for election process. Calls for the deadline extensions were mainly due to the large crowd that gathered daily at various offices of the National Identity Management Commission. The Director of Public Affairs for the NCC, Ikechukwu Adinde, told correspondents in Abuja that no deadline extension was approved. He said, right now, apart from the recent information that was made concerning the extension, no further update. So the information on this matter was that one that talked about the deadline, the extension moved to January 19 for those who have NIN and February 9 for those who do not have. And the question is, how do they know those that do not have? And how do they know those that have? That's the question. And January 9, which has been set as the deadline for those who do not have, how visible is this? This is still very that this there has not been a conversation about the extension of the deadline. We're looking at the spread of the coronavirus, and some people have spoken about the conspiracy theory as this method used to further do I use the word propagate the spread of the virus, which has been debunked. But we're looking at protections of lives right now. The essence of this is for security reasons, which is also to improve the security state of the country. At the end of the day, protect people. But are we supposed over the time?
Daniel, it's a pathetic issue. The government, I don't want to say anything negative about it. But I want to believe that before the time lapse, there's going to be an extension. That's one thing I want us to believe, because I know that they are also watching the whole scenario, the whole situation as it unfolds, as the day goes by. And you see, what I'm just concerned is that, like you said, we're in the pandemic state where everybody is even now very scared because of the second wave, the way we have been seeing it on a daily basis, where you've been seeing numbers increasing, and those are everything coming to the open, especially through the social media, seeing numbers of people that are dead on a daily basis, So it's even worrisome at this moment. And outside the pandemic, it also gives room for corruption, because the agents, the representatives, those who are managing this system, you are giving room for them to be corrupt. So they are going to exploit the people, because everybody who are managing this system, you are giving room for them to be corrupt. So they are going to exploit the people, because everybody to be registered. So for that, they can give you price and you wouldn't mind, because you don't want to be blocked, you don't want to be removed. All this, especially with your communication.
Yes.
So you'll see that a lot of things is being played out, and the government has to really look into that. I said it. I said this thing we are talking about shouldn't be a thing that has time frame. It should, and they should not forget that it's not, the time frame is not even going to work. Why? Because there are those who are underage at the moment, and there are those that are not yet born. They are going to be born. Some are being born today. Some are babies, so infants now, and by you understand them as well. So it's a continuous thing. What the government should do, like I said earlier, is that the government should just leave it open. That maybe in 1 year, it will be expected of that it will be understandable that if the government have given the time frame of a whole year and we are not able to register by then whatever penalty.
Something played out in Rivers State, where the possible is this,
because Rivers Court we always meet because of what the agitation for everybody to register And that's what is playing out. I'm also not fortunate that the government just is leaving or has left these people in the open at their own peril, putting their life at stake. For even forget the clash of the court members. What about these abductors? Can they not be abducted? They can be abducted. So why not? You are putting them in the center of this thing. Why not protecting them, providing security for them? You see, a lot of things is wrong. A lot of things. Look, the moment one is abducted, whether your papa is a billionaire or not, you pay ransom. And your family will have to go everywhere to look
for money.
So why is our government not being sensitive in this direction? Is the cause for concern. But however, we too, as a people, it's time for us to start educating. When you hear courtesim, then even by the time any member of the court, any court member is being brought to the open, you'll be shocked that so you're a member. It was something that was hidden, even in the school then. You'll be surprised that the person who is your root, who is a court member, you will not know until maybe the whistle is being blown. Wonder, that's what happened. That's what played out there. It was a sacred court and it was being played within the university environment. But now it's in the larger society. It is everywhere.
Let's look at this next headline this morning. Do want to send us a text or a WhatsApp message on 070-317-56537, 070-317-56537. We want to talk Amotekun this morning, and since the beginning of the week, there have been exchange of words between the Nigerian police and Amotekun, especially in Oyo State. Yesterday, Ogun State Amotekun was said to have commenced, but we haven't gotten much reports on if they actually did. We would expose those supporting headsmen to unleash terror in Oyo on Oyo Amotekun Commandant. So the chairman, Oyo State Security Network Agency, also known as Amotekun, General Kunle Togun, retired, has said the security outfit has stumbled on credible evidence that Fulani headers who kidnapped, maim, rape, and kill innocent people in the southwest zones of the country were not Nigerians. He also says he gave the hint in an exclusive chat with Vanguard, the retired army general, in a polite manner, that the issue of security is something that should be thrown to public space as people expect. It's not something to be thrown into the public space as people expect. Now, according to him, the security outfit has made tremendous achievement since it came on board, but people know little or don't even know anything about anything at all. Togun said that it will be foolish for any security agency which puts its security plan in the public domain, noting that such plans could sabotage. He said the army will never tell you how they would counter Boko Haram. We can't be telling people this and that. It will be tantamount to exposing our security plan, which is not in line with the security issue. It is not done in security. Now, with issues like this, these are very salient statements that are coming up, and I totally agree with this. I for one have questioned certain headlines making their way into the newspapers because of when I read them, I feel these are information that should be exclusive to the DSS so that they can take appropriate decisions on them and be able to work on them. One headline that I still freshly remember that got my attention when I read it, as much as it made headlines, but I questioned the fact that this headline made the dailies. What was DSS, the security agents, doing about it? And it was the fact that during the festive season, it was reported that people in IDP camps paid money to Boko Haram and
the
headsmen to be able to spend Christmas in their home.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, how is that information getting to the headline and the DSS is not, or the security agencies are not getting a hint on these are the locations of these people? Let's go, let's apprehend them. You know, things like that. And we saw what happened in Borno to the rice farmers for handing over one of the Boko Haram members to the security agents. Over 40 rice farmers were killed, were murdered, and in a very gruesome manner. So when we look at issues like this and we see the situations of things, my question remains is regards to synergy. As much as Amotekun has been able to make these findings, what is the relationship among these agencies for us to get things done the right way?
Daniel, you know that before the coming up of Amotekun.
Mm.
We Nigerians as a whole, we have been clamoring for community policing
Yes.
because of what has been playing out in the federal system, particularly with the police and the insurgents. That people, these men, they started invading other parts of the country without any apprehension of any of the culprits. And that was what necessitated the establishment of Amotekun and the other security outfits in other zones. The other thing I would want to say is that, like General Togun said, there's no way they will be able to divulge their tactics. It will amount to failure, because you want to arrest somebody, you are investigating the person, and you are putting on the open the means by which you want to arrest that person. The person will actually elude you because already he has complete information of what you want to do and how you want to carry it out. That's been said. When you're talking about the synergy between the police and the other security agencies, especially the Amotekun in the Southwest, I want to believe that the police authority are not playing games again. Maybe they are not looking at it that they are seeing their lapses.
Okay.
With the coming up of Amotekun, being in the forefront, combating this issue that we have on ground in the Southwest, not only in the Southwest, in Nigeria as a whole, but this particular talking about the Southwest. They should prioritize. For there to be a synergy, they should prioritize. Until they prioritize the life of every Nigerian, that's when there can be a synergy. When they don't look at their maybe superior to the other, who they are in terms of agencies, because we are talking about lives here. We are not talking about which of you is superior. We are talking about lives of the citizen. And if you're talking about lives of the citizen, then there must be cooperation among all the agencies. The police especially. We know what police does to all agencies when they are playing within their ambits of what they call their jurisdiction. We saw what played out between the police and the road safety initially when they were established in Nigeria. This FRSC.
Yes.
We saw what played out, how they were trying to, downplaying the FRSC, all this stuff, saying they are superior, that they should be under them before those people were given their space. We saw a lot of things happened. We saw what played out in Lagos when Last Man and other agencies were established before they were being brought together to synergize. We saw what that was playing out. And what we are saying, this is security matter. We don't want our security system to be porous again. Why? Let Amotekun operate. Yes, the only thing that Amotekun cannot do, as the law is concerned, is that they cannot prosecute. But when any person is being apprehended by the Amotekun, yes, let it be handed over to the police who could prosecute. They are the only one that has the power to prosecute. So let them be handed over to them. But for them to always be one way or the other, being a barrier to the operations of the Amotekun will not be acceptable. It will not be welcome. But what we are saying now is that Amotekun, if they are playing, they are carrying out the operation by, securing lives and property in the Southwest, let it be. And in the event of maybe there is any arrest of these, so the criminals, let them be handed over to the police who could prosecute them.
All right. Let's take this next headline. Do well to send us a text or a WhatsApp message on 070-317-56537. Yesterday, there was a headline by a particular Islamic forum which made comments on Bishop Kukah. And we extensively on the radio yesterday criticized some of the choice of the words used in that particular message. Yes, I wish I could lay my hands on the headline right now to go back to it. But the presidency, as I yesterday, also reacted and has warned the Islamic group to the threat issued to the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Hassan Kuku, by the Muslim Solidarity Forum is unconstitutional. The presidency said on Wednesday night. So on Tuesday, a group asked Bishop Kuka to apologize to the Muslim Ummah for allegedly malicious comments against Islam or leave the state quietly. The outspoken cleric came under attack from various groups, mostly Islamic, after his Christmas Day message, which he criticized Buhari's administration of what he described it as nepotism. He restated his position in a sermon he gave on January 6th at the funeral of the late Archbishop Peter Jatwo in Kaduna. In it, at war against itself and vowed to continue speaking out his mind. The presidency forwarded the call by the group for Bishop to the president on media and publicity, Malam Garba Shehu. The report ultimatum by a group based in Sokoto called on Bishop Kuka the apology to the entire Muslim Oman over his recent comment against Islam is wrong because it is not in line with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There were comments that were made by this Islamic group saying, statements like, Christians are the guests while they are the domineering, population in Sokoto. I had to raise that alarm, which the federal government even failed to address. Even in their comments here, they have actually sidelined that. It says under our constitution, every citizen.
Then you see, thank God that they could even come out and say that they should that what we see plots has been happening over the years, where nobody is talking. If these people could believe that the Muslims are the de facto of Sokoto and the Christians are there are just foreigners, that is an apologetic statement. I wonder sometimes, what is the essence of us being scholars, especially when you look at the people that are making these statements? Most of them are scholars. Do we go to school not to understand and to know how to apply things? These are the fundamental questions that needs to be asked. And we should not forget that the Constitution of Nigeria supersedes any other constitution, any other law whatsoever, by any sect, by any people, by any community. Even the state, the law of the state, the moment the law, whatever law is being enacted in that state, is inconsistent with the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that law becomes null and void. It becomes null and void. So if the Constitution of Nigeria gives the right to everyone to live anywhere, to move, right to life, then there is nobody that could tell one person that you can't live here or you can't walk this way. And they should always, we should learn to preach tolerance.
Okay.
That is one aspect that I see that my brothers in the north are not really. If the way they have been talking, the way they have been pushing, the way they have been pressing, the way they have been fighting, is the way the Southerners are doing. I tell you, everybody will be in their domain. But you will never see when a Muslim speaks anyhow and say things that are inimical to the right of the Christians in the south here. You don't see the Christians saying, no, go out, you have to die. No, they won't do that, because they have that understanding that you must love your neighbor.
But I think both religions.
Your neighbor.
But I think both religion actually preaches that.
But I'm not saying that it doesn't preach.
The concerns we have now about the individuals.
No, you see, it's not. This is not individual. We are talking about group.
Okay.
We're talking about sets of people. We're talking about a part of the country that what they say all the time, that they don't, that element of tolerance, they are not putting it into play. That's what we are saying. I'm not talking about Islam as a religion.
Okay.
I'm talking about the people over there. Why can't they tolerate their fellow brothers? It does not matter what he says because he has a right to speak. And what the man has said is not out of place. He has just only been able to emphasize on what is playing out as the situation as it is in Nigeria today. If nobody speaks and we continue the same way until the boss of Nigeria rocks the rock, is that when we're going to speak? When there will be no more Nigeria? When the people in Nigeria are almost dead? Is that when we are going to start speaking? No. It is time for everybody to speak. It should not be Kuka alone speaking. Even elders, leaders, yeah, we've been seeing that in recent time. They have been talking. That's what we expected. I said it before. I said, if my son is doing something wrong and I stand to shield him, he will continue that wrong. But the moment my son does anything wrong, you castigate him, and I get a wink of it, and I castigate him as well. He will know that what he has done is wrong. So he will want to stay away from it. But when you are castigating, and some people will believe that is their person, they are shielding him, then he will continue that wrong.
All right.
Because he will always feel that there is a support for him somewhere.
All right, let's take some messages right now on 070-317-56537. Says, what is the sharing formula for the COVID-19 vaccine? I never knew later I will regret voting Biden. I will come back to tell you when they suggest Biden should be impeached or removed. Trump always had America's first Democrat. I've always hated Trump because he blocked all the evil agenda. Nin is NOS called to threaten politicians after NSAS. Traced greedy is the problem of Nigeria. We must never negotiate with bad leaders. Leadership. Akin in Ikorodu. It says until the NDA, the Nigerian Defense Academy is split to build. It says until the NDA, the Nigerian Defense Academy is split to build in the Middle Belt or South to reduce the power in the North. There won't be any tangible or reliable information for killings in Nigeria, because I foresee that the army and some northern governors know what is happening. On Kuka, don't be surprised that the group against Kuka will organize Boko Haram, which is instrument to disguise the fund. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop there, Israel. Please, let's be very careful this morning with our text messages. When one knows our onions very well, it will be extremely difficult for any lecturer. Sensitive, cautioning Sokoto mostly threat to the Catholic bishop. We already have enough problem facing the country, and federal government cannot afford another one. All right, that's next. Or a WhatsApp message on 070-317-56537. Let's quickly talk school closure. So UNICEF. Also, Afe Babalola have described it as unconstitutional for the closure of schools. As we speak, according to the Presidential Task Force and the NCDC, they said the date January 18 is subject to change, but they haven't said that schools should not resume. But for the universities, tertiary institutions, as we speak, also have said that it will be unsafe for students to go back to school. Let's just take a look at the Punch newspaper. It says, founder of Afe Babalola University, Ado Ekiti, Are Afe Babalola, on Wednesday condemned the mass closure of schools by the federal government over COVID-19 second wave scare, describing it as unconstitutional and disastrous. The founder, who said the blanket closure was counterproductive, disturbing, disheartening, and have disastrous effect on education of the youth in the country. I hereby strongly advise the government should stop mass closure of schools. Babalola, who spoke in Ado Ekiti at the press conference, said although he would not go to court over the matter, what I have said is to advise the government of the unconstitutionality of its action. I know the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and President Yemi Osinbajo, who is a lawyer, will look into it. He spoke in a reaction to the statement credited to the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu Adamu, that the January 18, 2021 earlier date set by the federal government of school resumption would be reviewed. Babalola also cited the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who said COVID-19 is while the closure of school is more disastrous. Keeping school closed longer than it is absolutely necessary. It is absolutely necessary, is social intolerable, economic unsustainable, and morally indecisive. So, as we speak, as children or the students in the higher institution, first of all, we're on a long strike for about 9 months, and now counting, going to the 11th month, right? And we were hoping they would resume. Unilag put a resumption date for January 18th or January 21st. I was reading a report this morning. Didn't get to read all of it. But what's your take?
You see, it calls for the flexibility of our educational system. I want Baba Afebalala to know that if with the reports that we are getting every day in regard to the death rate of this COVID-19 in Nigeria is anything to go by, then we must understand that it's imperative for the government to perhaps review the January 18th resumption date of the students. Why do I say that? Nigeria system is a kind of system that the way we approach things differs from the other worlds. We don't want a fire brigade to be the future of the nation. There must be other ways by which tutorials could be carried out. Are you with me, Dan?
Okay.
Could be carried out.
Yes.
Afe Babalola, as a person himself, got his LLB through correspondence.
Okay.
Then. So if that operated then, and now we have what is called virtual learning. What is important now is for schools, how can they meet the needs of these children without putting their life at stake?
Okay.
So what we are looking at now is what other ways can we be able to do with so that these children will not lag behind academically.
They are already lagging behind.
Yes, they are to some extent, but it can always be covered up. So what is the means by which to achieve this? It is what we should be concerned about. If the federal government said with the alarming rate, the death alarming rate, then it will not be ready to open the schools. Bro, I wouldn't even allow my own children to go. That's the honest truth.
Yeah.
Because it's not the way people are even dying now. I'm surprised. The first wave, the death rate wasn't as much as this.
Yes.
Every day in the newspaper, you read about death, and that's the one that comes to the open because of who they are. But what about the ones that are open within our community that we don't have an idea? It's not in the news, and that's the truth. So if it is because of this pandemic, the government wants to review the January 18th school resumption date, then let them do. But as they are doing that, they should also be looking into ways by which this student can be tutored.
Okay. Now let's talk COVID-19 quickly. The Nigerian Medical Association, the National Association of Nigerian Nurses Midwives, a coalition of labor and civil society organization, the allegiance of survival of COVID-19 and beyond, have advised federal government to ensure transparency in the distribution of COVID-19 vaccines. So the NMA, in separate interviews and other bodies, said priority should be given to frontline health workers, the age during the vaccination of Nigerians against deadly virus. The group said this as Ogun or your Cross River State faulted the number of COVID-19 doses allocated to them by the federal government. Now, on its part, the Benue State government said the issue of allocation of COVID-19 vaccine dose ought to have been discussed at the Nigerian Governors Forum. But Lagos and Oyo State stated that they have planned on buying COVID-19 vaccine. Now, as we speak, we recall that the federal government is expecting 100,000 doses of the Pfizer BioNTech coronavirus vaccine before the end of the month. And the executive director for the National Primary Health Care Development Agency, who disclosed this on Tuesday last week, conference at the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, said the country would later in the year receive 42 million free doses of COVID-19 vaccine. Now, according to data shared by the NPHCDA, the distribution breakdown is as follows. Kaduna is going to get 3,559. Lagos will get 3,131. Castina, 2,361. Kaduna with 2,074. Bauchi with 1,900. Oyo with 1,848. Rivers with 1,766. Jigawa with 1,712, Niger with 1,558, Ogun with 1,473, Sokoto with 1,468, Benue with 1,423, Borno 1,461, Anambra 1,379, Kebbi 1,268, Delta 1,306, Imo 1,267, Akwa Ibom with 1,161, and a list goes on like that. I think the list is going to go to Nasarawa, which is only that's the only ones getting 661 vaccine. Now, questions have been raised with regards to this distribution, but if we're looking at just 100,000. Kano getting the highest with 3,557, followed by Lagos, followed by Castina, and Oyo, which has also states that have faulted the distribution, is Ogun, Oyo, and Cross River have faulted the distribution. Now, why would states with high number of cases, apart from Lagos, which is a major priority, and Kano, these are the two places where there have been real surge in the number of cases, but other states have faulted this. Also, the question still remains: the frontline workers needs to be attended to first.
Yeah. You talk about the two states, Lagos and Kano. I am looking at the emphasis and the reason why I think the discussion is going that route has to do with the first wave. But this time around, we're talking about the second wave. The states that ought to be given more priority, as it is, Lagos State ought to have more consignment than Kano. Because most of the cases now is in Lagos. Do you understand? So there is no way the first wave is gone. Okay. This is the second wave. This is where we are at the moment. So when other states are complaining, it shows not just on the side of the state government, but it shows that our government, federal government, is not doing what it ought to do. Please. So,
do you agree with the Benue State governor that this should have been discussed at the Nigerian Governors Forum?
I said
shouldn't be. These are things
that ought to have been discussed even before now.
Okay.
Before now, it ought to have been discussed before now. The distribution aspect, even the importation, the numbers of the vaccine they want to import, should have been discussed. And I said it. The immunity level of Nigerians
should be ascertained before this.
Yes. And like they're saying that the frontliners, the medical personnel,
yes,
these are the first people that needs this shot
first.
They are
and if we are not, what we are doing now is we're supposed to add the NIMC workers to the frontline workers.
Very important. Very, very, very important. I told you, I said when you're talking about emergencies,
yes,
these are emergencies. The NIMC workers, they are emergencies.
All right, we have to go right now. We're way out of our time already, but I want to wrap up with James Ogbona's message in Oshodi, right? It says here, I want to commend the presidency for speaking up against the call for Reverend Kuka to apologize or leave Sokoto. Though the presidency reaction is a bit late and controversial for me, but at least they managed to show up that they do not agree with the unconstitutional call by the Muslim Solidarity Forum for Reverend Coker to leave Sokoto. I see the subtle support for the group from the presidency, even though they skillfully distance themselves from the call by the MSF. Nobody should be threatened in any part of Nigeria. Okay, and for Trump, I weep softly for him. James Ogbonna Inoshiri, thank you so much, Adeolu, for joining us this morning in the studio. And we're getting more reactions on Trump's impeachment, but we have to stop now. Anderson Initoki, your message just came in, and also Tony, your message too just dropped right now, but we have to go. Well, let's pray for more greater days, and we hope that the best would meet all of us. Good morning.
We are WFM 91.7, the voice of women, using radio as a tool for women development. We condemn the abuse of women, girls, and children in any shape or form. WFM 91.7, the voice of women.
Hello, this is a public service announcement to our dear customers. As mandated by the NCC, MTN will be linking your National Identification Number, NIN, to the same registration information you have already provided to make the